I got a very interesting one for you here. This is I'm gonna pick this one because it's personal to me.
Okay.
Though I didn't ask the question, but I would love to hear your insight on that. Thanks for all you do, from Travis Wilson. My question is advice for those looking into seminary as well, and this is the part that is key, as well as tips to thrive while you're enrolled. And I'd add on to that, not just thrive, but how about just survive while you're enrolled?
That's going to depend in large part on where you're enrolled and the level of rigor, because not all seminaries are created equal. And it's also going to depend on what your goals are. I've been out of seminary for 20 years, 18 years technically. And I'll say this. The main thing I think seminary does, and the main use that I think it has, and this is just me personally, and I'm not a pastor. I have an MDiv, and I could have gone the route of pastor, but I very clearly felt from God that's not the route he wanted me to go. I'm the son of a pastor. I was raised by a pastor. I know what that life is like. The most important thing seminary does, I think, is give you the ability to use the languages. I to this day, I think that a seminary that doesn't give you the ability to engage with the Greek and the Hebrew text of Scripture is committing theological malpractice. I really honestly think that, because if you're going to seminary, you are going to be a spiritual leader. And that means you are going to, I'm not talking about if you're going to a counseling degree. Okay, I should clarify. There's a seminary that has a degree in counseling, or maybe like church history or something. That gets a little, I'm talking about a degree in a field that's going to involve you teaching other people the Bible in any capacity. To not have functionality in the languages is doing a disservice to your calling. So any seminary you go to, I think, should give you at minimum the ability to decipher Greek, Hebrew, and possibly Aramaic. If it doesn't do that, I think you're wasting your money, honestly, because it's so expensive. And anything else that you learn there, you can get by just auditing lectures or reading textbooks. But that proficiency in the language, again, this is completely subjective, and it's my own personal opinion. But looking back, that's the one thing more than anything else that has stayed, that had the most impact on me, and that has stayed with me for nearly 20 years, is being able to move within the languages of the biblical text. So I think that should be a huge factor in when you're looking at seminary. Do they require the languages? If they don't, again, I think it's an orange flag. I'm not saying you can't go there and get a good degree and get a good job and be a successful pastor. God forbid. You don't need the languages to do that, but you give God so much more to work with when you have it. So that's my biggest advice. How to thrive while you're doing it. Don't be married and have a family. That makes it a little easier. That's all I can speak to. Gregory, you could answer that one because you're juggling those: full-time work, family, and seminary. So what would you add to that? Because I can't even relate to your situation in that regard.
Pray a lot. From a husband with kids in the house, et cetera. And my kids are, 14, 15, 16. So like they require lots of attention still. Key thing is going to be do it in deliberation with your partner. So before I signed up, my wife and I had a talk. Are you okay with this? This is what it's going to take. This how many years I'm going to be doing this. Make sure and have that conversation, because it absolutely will be impactful on your personal life. Like there ain't no question about it. There are countless nights where I was sitting outside literally until 3-4 o'clock in the morning, finishing up a paper because I had to do a review with one of my mentor professors the following morning at 9, multiple times. There's many times I had to, go and sequester myself, literally, sweetie, kids, I'm gonna be here in the office and this is my office, so you see a lot of books and stuff in the background. I'm gonna be here in the office for the next 3 days, literally. Bring my food here. This is what I'm gonna be doing. I gotta get this knocked out. So yeah, make sure and do it in deliberation with whoever you're doing life with.
Absolutely. I think if your spouse, if you are called to seminary, your spouse is called to seminary. And if your spouse is not called to seminary, you are not called to seminary. Like the spouse relationship, the husband-wife relationship takes priority. That's why Paul said there's sometimes it's better to not be married because it frees you up to do more ministry. And I think that's a key example. It's got to be a team effort. And I say that my parent, I mean, I was brought into, well, not brought into the, I was conceived in a seminary setting. I was born shortly after they moved back from seminary. But my parents were a seminary couple. My brother-in-law and sister were a seminary couple. My cousin were a seminary couple. All of us at Gordon Conwell. And so I've seen, even if you're not the one studying, you are still called to that life to some degree. And it's going to take its toll. So yeah, that's great advice. Great advice.